Most people came to know me in 2006 when I won Miss USA. And even more people got to know me later that year when I tested positive for cocaine. But what they didn't know was that I had been silently suffering from a nasty addiction from the age of 14. And I want to share with you a bit about my journey with addiction. My life was the perfect storm for addiction to manifest. I survived incest at 3. My parents had a rocky relationship, and alcoholism and mental health issues were very present in my family. What was impressed upon me was that if I drank or smoked or had premarital sex, I was going straight to hell. And I remember thinking how unfair that seemed, because my uncle didn't give me a choice in the matter. So, fast forward to 14, my parents are going through a nasty divorce. My papa, my protector, and the only person that ever showed me unconditional love, dies. And the pain and loneliness that I experienced were truly unbearable. So now I want to talk about how we stigmatize this disease. When I failed a drug test for cocaine and Donald Trump chucked me into rehab, I faced the stigma head on, and people were calling me disgraced Miss USA. And when I left treatment, I had to do a media tour because that's normal. And I had this man ask me, "Do you think you tarnished the crown?" And all I could see was that 14-year-old version of myself who was molested by her uncle, whose parents are divorcing, who just lost the only example that she has of love, who has sought refuge in drugs and alcohol, have a muzzle put on her mouth because she just saw Miss USA be shamed on national television for being sick. I wasn't a bad person trying to act good. I was a sick person that needed to get well. And that was the fire that started my journey to advocacy. I knew that there were so many people out there that were suffering just like me. And I suffered for most of my life because I had no idea what it was that I was suffering from. I was so excited to get out there and share my experience with what I had learned in treatment because I really felt like I found the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, right? Addiction is one of the top healthcare issues in this country, and it kills more people than diabetes, heart disease, and cancer combined. There's an airplane full of people dropping from the sky every single day, and it's the most underfunded healthcare issue. People are being incarcerated for being sick. 80% of inmates suffer from substance use disorders, and almost half of them have been locked up for drug-related offenses. They don't need to be held captive. They need long-term recovery. In schools, where our children spend the majority of their time, there's no government-funded, effective prevention program out there. Science tells us that prevention and treatment work. It's estimated that substance use costs our society around $442 billion a year. If more people had access to treatment, and if there were better prevention programs, mandatory, that were in place, we could take a chunk out of our national debt. We don't need to lock people up or build a wall. The drugs are already here. I found mine in my parents' medicine cabinets. In November of last year, the U.S. Surgeon General made an unprecedented report on drugs, alcohol, and health. And he issued a new call to action. There are currently 20 million Americans that are struggling with addiction, far more than those diagnosed with cancer, and only 10% of them will receive treatment. We all love to sensationalize the problem. I've been guilty of it, right? But rarely do we hear that Miss USA just celebrated 10 years of sobriety. Thank you. Dr. Vivek H. Murthy said that how we respond to the addiction crisis is a moral test for America. There are over 20 million people in long-term recovery. It's a lot. I mean, I will share my dirty laundry to whoever will listen, but I challenge those who are in long-term recovery and all of the families whose lives have been recreated because of recovery to join together and recover out loud. Then maybe we can take the shame away from those who are in the shadows and encourage them to step into the light. I know I will. Thank you.